gentlemen, welcome back to this week's episode of Bone Apple Tea. We had the pleasure of interviewing not one, but both. I mean, that isn't even really of Daisy and Yaramir. We've had them both on individually, so we have done interviews with them. You know, Plumpy Beats, aka Yaramir, and Daisy, separately, but together because they come in a pair. They are a couple. Power couple. But anyways, we basically went over, so like they just had a huge life event happen where they built a studio, 2Primo Studios in downtown Westerly. So most of this episode was focused around basically like the motivation behind starting the studio, kind of where they got their name, and also like what they do at the studio, which is they go into all the type of things they've done, like hosting exclusive events. It's a recording studio, so they do, actual recording as well. Some plans they have for events in the future and kind of how they're focusing on creating a scene here on the East Coast, basically, outside of just Boston, New York, which is nice because there really isn't anything like that around here.
Yeah, and it's definitely it's very unique for this area, which is great because people from this area now have a place to go.
Yeah, for more of an underground scene, and it's cool seeing that kind of built up, and they're also supporting local artists because there are a ton of them in this area. So they talk about all that and more. And, they also do like a lot of DJ events, or they have been doing a lot of DJ events together. And it's really cool because they're really good. And so anyways, we talk about that and more in this episode. So enjoy.
It is nice to have you guys back, like the two of you again.
Yeah.
But so you guys have been busy. You guys got lots of stuff that you're going and doing and stuff. So I know that you have a new studio, 2Primo.
Yeah.
Before, where was the motivating factor in opening it?
We always wanted to have a business that catered to creatives, and bringing local creative people together.
Right.
So a recording studio made sense, especially since, you're a producer, you're a musician of all kinds. So you're able to understand musicians and me being more on the art side, we have that gallery space. So ultimately, I think years before 2Primo became a thing, we had the idea to have a place that brought creative people together, essentially.
Okay.
A place where we could all just share ideas, collaborate, and innovate on different. And I think in this area, it's really useful because there's really not a whole lot of places for creative people to get together, even though we have so many creative people in this town.
I was going to say, it's kind of weird because I feel like I know so many, like you said, even, Amber, who makes books, you know what I mean? There's a lot of creative people like that in the area.
Yeah.
So it's true there, but there aren't a lot of spots, I don't know. You think there would be more?
Well, that's the thing. When I first moved here, mind you, I was in LA for 8 years, and then I moved here, and then you go from having all of these types of parties, events going on every night. You're almost overstimulated with options, and so when I got here, I was there's, I have to drive either to New York or Boston to get an actual electronic music show, or to even just book a session. I'd have to go to Providence to book a session for a studio.
Yeah. Right.
Unless I want to go to someone's basement and record something.
Yeah.
Which is fine. There's
basement.
nothing wrong with that.
Definitely not. But I understand it's
Randy's basement.
Yeah.
Well, no, you had a really nice studio.
No. For many years, it was my basement.
Yeah, that's a classic though. That's the thing.
But the thing was we wanted to do something here, but there wasn't a space or an opportunity that came up. And, lo and behold, an opportunity came up where there was a space, which used to be an old radio station, WBLQ.
Oh, that's
and so
I never knew it was down there.
Yeah, and it was a radio station, and then it was open. So we went to check it out. And my good friend, Chris, actually, he had a wood workshop right next to that, and he had the spot at the time, and he wasn't doing anything with it. So he was like, if you want, I'll connect you with the guy that has the building. And so we got together and just made it happen. And then we took 8 months to build the whole studio from nothing to something. So it took a lot of time. We put a lot of our projects, personal projects and music on hold in order to build this for the community in Westerly, to kind of allow for all these talented artists in town to have a space to record and or not just to record, but to make it almost an event space / gallery, how Daisy was saying, to bring people together and bring the community together and give them something to do here so they don't have to drive 3 or 2 hours to get to that.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, dude, like I remember watching. It's crazy. It feels like it happened so fast, but I do remember watching you guys kind of like putting the whole thing together.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how big it was. Like when we went for that event.
Oh,
It was like I don't know, probably beginning of the summer or something like that.
Yeah.
I like didn't realize how like deep the space was. You know, like you kind of there's like 3 or 4 massive rooms. Kind of just keeps going. Like is it the entire thing inclusive of the music room in the back? So like you know, there's like the instrument room with the drum kit and everything.
Yeah, that's all. It's all part of 2Primo Studios. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
When you walk in, you have the gallery on the brick wall of all of curated art by local artists of either Connecticut, Rhode Island, right? And then you also have a recording studio, and then you go farther, you have the rehearsal room as well as more art on the outer hallway.
Yeah.
So it's a big space. No one really knows that it's there because it was a radio station, right? So like no one would really wander back there.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it's cool because I remember probably about 2 years ago, you were trying to get this other place to like have more EDM type events.
Yeah.
But it was like, I remember you guys having to like jump through a lot of hoops in order to get that to happen.
Yeah, it's just working with like people that were, I guess most of them didn't think it would work, because this is a bluegrass town. Why are you making EDM electronics?
Yeah.
And we get that all the time, but it's just like, we have friends that want to dance and they don't know where to go to dance. Like, you could go to local bars and stuff, and like, you could go see a DJ that'll play top 40, but it's just like,
but it's the same stuff everywhere you go. Even if you go to Foxwoods or the casino, they're going to be playing like Usher. And stuff,
And like, there's nothing wrong with that, because if you're wanting to do that, that's okay. But like,
there needs to be an underground scene.
Someone's got to do something underground.
Yeah. I've even just from the pictures, I really appreciate like, the art that's around. I feel like that's what makes that place truly unique, is that there is this special attention to detail from like every nook and cranny of that place that you guys have really thought about.
Yeah. Thank you.
And like that's like, I remember when I was watching the videos, because you guys did a lot of that like yourselves.
We
right?
did most
like,
of it.
Was it like all of it? Like, you set up.
I would like
help from friends. But
I had help from friends. I had a few friends. My friend Pete, my friend Chris, like they helped me out quite a bit, because like I would go and work my day job from like 8 to 5, and after that I would go into the studio and work till like midnight.
So it's like you're working 2 jobs for like 8 months.
But it was like all love, because like it was like this like dream space where we're like, we got this space, we want to do something with it, and so that just keeps you going. And we just kept like working and eventually made it happen. But like
when you love something, you'll put as much energy as you have to into it. You'll do what it takes.
Yeah, and it's really admirable, because it really is kind of a one of a kind place around here. And I think that, to your point where it's like someone's got to have the underground scene.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you can draw a bunch of people, that underground scene becomes, a little bit more enjoyable than going to like the local college bar, where it's like, it's kind of like stale and like, like, I don't know, like there's something about that.
Everyone's to, like, drinking, talking, no one's really dancing.
Yeah.
Still having a good time, right? But it's
it's a different thing.
It's a socializing thing.
Yeah,
right? Like,
it's just like they're just playing songs. Nobody's like really mixing. I mean, it's sometimes they have DJs, but it's not really like
the DJ's the furniture in the corner.
Yeah, exactly.
The furniture in the corner. That's theirs.
Yeah. We want to make the DJ more of like something to be there for, in that way. And and that's what we were trying to do with the space. Essentially, it was just like highlight local artists and people that are doing cool things, and not necessarily what you hear on the radio every day is what you're going to hear that down there. We're not going to be playing that kind of thing. But I mean, and it's also like an avenue for artists to come and create, so that's really like the main idea, is that they
and
come
to
here.
network.
Yeah, exactly. So they come, they record songs, and then they can, come and DJ, and we can do like a little event with them after they've recorded their songs. We can do listening parties and that kind of thing.
Oh,
so
that's super fun.
yeah.
That's actually like a really good idea. Is like if an artist that like has something that they're trying to drop, they can have like a full out party at like an actual studio, like an artsy fucking cool ass studio.
And like
space.
people who are interested in music actually showing up. And it's like, I don't know, it's like a cool, because like, what are the alternatives on one if you want to even listen to music like that? Like, again, you kind of got to go to like a club. What are you going to like go to Shrine? Like, I'm not going to listen to like anything. You know what I mean? It's like, and
to make that drive too.
No, it's crazy.
Like,
it's crazy. It's like,
that's you're going to have a drink or two. Like, you don't want to go there and
this is like walking distance, right? To center of town. Everybody's already kind of walking around. And like, I don't know, like I've been to a lot of like festivals, and if you're looking for like a similar kind of atmosphere, like I'm not going to hear drum and bass at Foxwoods, you know what I mean?
Right.
So
unless you're lucky.
Yeah, I
Unless
guess.
you're
I mean, I don't know who
really
books that
lucky.
place, but
very rare.
But like, it's kind of cool. Like, especially if there's, I don't know if you guys are. I know you guys have done events there where you guys play, but I don't know if you've had anybody say like, "Hey, can I like play at your space or anything?"
Yeah.
Like that?
So our grand opening night, we booked Eric Otero. He's a super dope East Coast, Northern East Coast DJ, and he's played a bunch of spots all over, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut. And we booked him for the first show because just like, we wanted to book someone that is from around here, like local, because we were featuring local art.
He reached out to us. He reached out to us and he said, "Hey, I saw what you guys are doing. It's really cool. I'd love to come play." And that's like ultimately what we want to facilitate. It's just like a place for people to come vibe,
If you want to be part of the community and do something different, then like we're happy to book you, We're happy to do work with you. We're happy to showcase your art.
Yeah,
it's
awesome.
There's not many types of events like this going on the East Coast, so it's nice to have that here in town.
Yeah, it's true. I guess in the West Coast, there's way more of these like kind of like underground parties.
Every night you have some shit going on. Like every night you're like, "Hey, this is going on. You want to pull up? Free guest list." But it's just like, how much can you do that, right? Like, there's got to be a limit. But when you're in a town like this where there's none of that happening and it happens once in a while, you're like, well, fuck it. I'll go and check it out. You know? Why not?
Yeah. The once in a while is definitely part of our mentality too, to make it more of like a pop-up style event. So it's something that people are willing to like, put on their calendar and be like, "Oh, I want to go to this," instead of just like doing it every single week and making it a regular thing. I think that makes it almost too convenient.
Yeah,
it's like easy to skip because you're like, "Oh, well, it's going to happen next week." You know
exactly.
what I mean? So
it's like a convenience mindset where you're like, "Oh, it'll always be there."
Yeah.
But when we do pop-up events, it makes it like, "Come, it's special."
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
With like the events we've had, we've done a few, right? And we came to a realization where we've outgrown the space already.
That is true.
Where the few events we had is just like too many people in the small space, and also we want to keep it to a certain vibe, and some people don't understand that, like, this is not a rager. This is like you come and look at local art, listen to some music, network with other artists.
That's a big one. Networking with other creatives.
But when you have, when you have people come and show with a bottle
like
of tequila and drink it all,
it
things will go wrong.
Yeah, and you're playing like D&B and like, you know what I mean? Everybody's getting hyped.
Someone's really vibing.
We have some major vibers. So it's a beautiful thing, but it's also something that we are going to be careful of moving forward.
Yeah,
we're probably going to just do.
We're definitely going to be making it more of a private or like invite only.
Probably invite only.
Just because the like demand for these events have been so high, and so like,
that's good.
And we want to curate the crowd.
Yeah.
That's the main thing is we want to make sure that the people that come understand the reason that they're there.
So like, is that where the Snapchat group came out from, or was this beforehand, or what? It seems like there's a decent amount of people on the Snap.
Yeah, the Snapchat group is kind of funny.
I like it. It's cool because like, I don't know, it's just like people. Well, obviously people just send shit sometimes, but like, it's kind of funny like seeing. I think initially at least people were showing it from the space, or from the show or something.
Like it was just something I was testing out. I made a group on Snapchat and I added people that I know appreciate electronic music. But like, I guess I also added some people that weren't in EDM, and they're like, "Why am I in here? This sucks."
Well,
and then they
leave,
just
dude.
leave.
Yeah,
They're
it's
just like,
all right,
"Well,
thanks
did
for
you not
your
read
exit,
anything?"
I
You know?
guess.
That's how we know our crowd. Exactly.
Yeah. It's a good
you know?
little like litmus test of like who
Yeah.
should be in this little chat.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's so funny. Oh my
that's
God.
funny you brought that up because
Dude, I was looking at it the other day, like 2 days ago. Because like you guys posted a live event.
yeah, I'm always
Yeah,
like
yeah.
posting stuff on there, any upcoming events or anything like that. You know.
But yeah, I do remember like a couple of just I don't know who these people are. It's just like when I opened
Yeah.
the thing and it's just a guy, like a selfie or something. I'm like,
I didn't even know you could do that. I was trying to turn it on where you can't send shit to the thing. I wanted it to be more of like a
business
broadcast
account,
channel on
basically.
Instagram almost.
Yeah, right.
And
Where
for
the
that stuff,
creator
you got to
can
get
go.
like invited nowadays or something. Like, so like we couldn't do that yet. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go on Snapchat and like fucking
Make
figure
a
it
group,
out.
and then the
But-
hooligans get in there.
Hooligans.
Yeah, and then,
More
like,
hooligans.
people always invite more hooligans, and then
Tom
it just
Wookery.
Yeah.
yeah, you got Tom Wookery going on in there. And you're just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
That's so
Going on.
funny.
so where'd the
Yeah.
name 2Primo come from?
Yeah, that's a great
Yeah,
question.
I'll
I
let
was curious.
Daisy answer this one. She has a great answer. I actually know the answer, but I'll let you do it anyway.
Well, essentially, like for us, art and music were always like what we placed above everything else. You know, that was always our passion, was to be creative. I would say I'm more on the art side, he's more on the music side. And so like Primo was always something that we would use in our language to be like, oh, this is Primo, you know, like saying like,
This
oh,
is
this is
top
the
notch.
best.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, we
Nice.
put this above all else.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what art and music is for us.
there's
So it's
two,
and
yeah.
there's two of us, and it's two, art and music. It's
Oh,
both
I like
combined.
that.
So
Art, music,
yeah.
two of us.
it's
yeah.
what we put above the rest.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
The things
beautiful.
that make us
Yeah.
the happiest, right? So like
Wow.
it only made sense to go with that. And then like, well, actually, you didn't put this in, but we were gonna make 2Primo an artist project,
Yes.
but we ended
This
up
is
going recently with Daisy and Yarrow because
Yeah.
obviously 2Primo is the studio.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But
Okay, I was
originally
gonna
we-
ask about that too.
Yeah. We had come up with 2Primo as our duo name.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
I mean,
know,
that's a pretty sick duo name too. That'd be
Yeah.
really- you know.
And we did put out an EP on Audio Mac
Yeah.
under that name, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It might still be up. But
Yeah. Yeah, we tested it out, but it made more sense as a business name and as something to invite people to 2Primo, you know, in
Yeah,
that way.
Okay.
And then it now is Daisy and Yarrow is our duo name when we released music, because it sort of seemed like 2Primo is now the business, the recording studio, that
Yeah.
Is
entity.
the
It is
space.
that entity
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
When you guys are, because you guys do make music together, which is really
Yeah.
freaking cool. I mean,
Yeah.
that must be like such a crazy connection for you guys because,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like you guys obviously have an adorable relationship. But then it's like you guys are making this music. Like how,
Yeah.
like, do you guys just are like you're cooking eggs or something in the morning? You're cooking something in the morning. And you're like, and you're like,
Yeah,
write that down, write that down.
too now, right?
There's a lot of
That's-
singing in the house,
yeah,
that's for
it's-
sure.
It's like more like I'll pick up like my KO2 sample which I recently got, and I'll just start making something, and she'll just start writing or
Yeah.
just humming some melodies. And if we have something that we're like, oh yeah, like that's
It's a
good.
vibe. Get this down. Yeah.
We'll just go downstairs, record it, and it's good, you know.
Yeah.
But before that, we were just like, even before this, we would just, you know, I would be working on something, and she would just be humming around, like, you know, making dinner.
No
or
matter
something
what
or
he's making,
whatever.
I'm always like
She's always writing.
coming up with some melodies for
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
But that's
Wow.
like the best because it happens in the moment, you know. Like it's
Mhm.
just like that's when the best songs happen. Like
100%.
a lot of artists come to studio, and even to our studio, they come and they're just like, bro, like I need to make the next hit. Like I need you to A&R my music. Like you're just gonna make this banger. It's like
Mhm.
that's just not how it works.
That is
Yeah.
not
You're gonna
always.
need to make 200-300 of these before.
Yeah,
You need to
right.
make
Dude, it's-
200 bangers
you know.
before you actually make something that someone cares about. Yeah.
Yeah, I
feel like-
Yeah.
With like anything
I need to look up that
like
song
work
that,
wise or creative wise for myself too, it's always been like if I'm like doing something, you know, whatever, and I have a good idea, I'll immediately be like, all right, I need to write that down. And then like
Yeah.
at some point you're like, well, I have like 50 ideas and
Yeah.
you kind of like mash them together or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like sitting down and just being like, I need to make something right now with
Yeah.
like nothing to even just like as a starting point is like pretty tough, I feel like.
Yeah, it's a kind of odd space. I feel like this is where like a lot of people kind of get hung up on ideas, is sort of like trying to force out an idea. And that's like
Mhm.
sometimes I think the toughest creative space to be in is if you feel like a pressure to
Yeah.
do something, as opposed to it just kind of like you're in the shower and oh, like, oh my gosh.
You're not even thinking about it in the shower, right? Like, and also social media, you know, that's another thing that kind of fucks with a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
Where they compare themselves to other people, you know, and like, oh, I need to like record a song now. Like I need to make this fucking thing happen now.
Right.
And just like it comes more natural when you're just not trying, I guess.
No, yeah. 100%.
You know, when you're just in the vibe, like just kind of
you got to
like
do it because you love it in the moment.
How we do it sometimes. I'll just be playing something, not thinking about it. Next thing you know, you're just singing on it, and we're like, "Oh, that would be good." And, you know, no, maybe sing about this, sing about that.
And it's funny too because I noticed that anytime that I freestyle over what he's doing versus when I try to write to it and then sing what I wrote, it's always so much better when I freestyle it every single time, because there's just like this organic energy that I think every listener just picks up on the energy, you know, more so than the words.
Yeah.
So if I'm just going, then it has a different flow to it than if I'm like read singing, essentially.
That's true. I mean, it's like what you were feeling listening to the song, kind of, you know.
Exactly. It's just
way more
pure feeling.
Yeah, I heard someone say like melody is king, and a guy was trying to dispute it on him. And he was like, I'm blue, abba-dee, abba-die. He's like, is it the words or is it the melody that's getting you?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, yeah, I guess it is the melody, right?
Exactly.
So it's like, as long as, you know.
That's how people react. It's either the lyrics or the melody.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of the two, you know, that they connect with.
Yeah, and it's it's a really interesting space to be in because, and I did want to actually ask. So, Revival is one of my favorite duo songs that you guys did.
That's awesome.
I really want to get that song in like a chase sequence in a movie so bad.
Oh my god!
Because it would be every time, like when it first came out, it's the first thing I thought of, like cars and like, you know, people with guns and like it's like it is a chase sequence song to me.
Absolutely.
So that's my goal, by the way, is to get that in some movie because it just has that frickin'.
It has that energy.
It has that friggin' chase John. Like you could see John Wick tearing through a bunch of guys with that in the background, or like even in a comedy. It could work for so many things.
That's so fun.
Yeah,
so fun.
So how did you guys end up writing that song? And I'm asking that selfishly because it's like my favorite.
Yeah. Go ahead.
We were actually on mushrooms.
Oh, nice.
Speaking of,
this will be a good segue after.
No, we were with some friends up in
Maine.
Portland, Maine, or where was it?
It was like
somewhere in Maine,
north of Portland, Maine. But
and there was like this. It was like this event where
it was like a home style festival.
Home style festival with a jam band that was supposed to come. The jam band never came. Like one of the jam bands never came, and I always have being a fucking DJ, I always have my controller and sound system on me.
Oh,
and I actually drove up there with it, and they're like,
"Yeah,
you DJ, can you play?" I'm like, "Yeah, I brought all my shit. Like, I'm ready."
They're like, "Wow, dude, you were there like golden boy." Like they were like, "Holy shit, he brought all of his stuff."
Yeah.
Right. And then like I plug my shit in, I start playing. You know, like before that, we took some shrooms, and like you know, one and a half hour into a set, I'm like, what should I play next? I don't know what to like. I didn't know what to play because like you know you on the come up, you're like fuck it. The people were vibing. I like turn all the music off, and we went to the forest.
Yeah.
Then later we went into the house. Yeah, and in the house we were just like
we were vibing on the couch.
We were vibing on the couch making the song, and you just started singing it like and like we recorded the whole
it happened
thing.
Super
Meanwhile,
organically.
Like, where the fuck did the DJ go?
We got a song to make.
Exactly.
Sorry, guys.
Exactly. Like we were playing for everyone, and then all of a sudden we were like, wait a minute. Like this is good creative energy we need to hone in on. And so then we just left. What are we doing here? This isn't the creative zone. This is the performing zone. Which we made that. We made most of that song.
It happened naturally. It just happened how it was supposed to happen. You know.
Wow.
Like I also think it was on a different beat, but then we went and remade it into a drum and bass record.
Well, you took that beat and then you later just like morphed it into this whole
into what
thing.
it is now.
Yeah, into this. So the original thing was so different from what we ended up releasing.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
What's the pivot point where you're like, I want to change this up? Because that's like a tough decision to make.
Yeah, it was more just like it didn't have enough energy. Like I was like, I like this song, but it needs a little. It was more on the chiller side, right? Because like when
Yeah.
you're on mushrooms, you're just
Everything's
Yes.
chill. Yeah.
yeah. So it was more like
Yes.
and the beat I made, it's like you could tell like bro made this on mushrooms, like yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a little
when I
mushy.
listened to it later, I'm like it's good, but it needs.
Oomph.
If I want people to play it at a club, or if I want to play it at a club, I need to like
Pep
It's
it
gotta have
up.
that
you know,
energy. Yeah.
pick up the tempo a little bit.
And we actually did play it live, and I remember
we
it's
played
funny
live
that you
in
say,
Vegas.
yeah, exactly.
Which is another funny story.
There
On the
was
way
so
to
much-
on the way to this fucking gig, like we were driving there an hour out of Vegas, the engine overheats on the car.
Oh my god.
And I'm like calling the promoter. I'm like, bro, my car overheated. I need you to pick me up. And we were like in Bakersville, Vegas. Like they come pick
in the
us
middle
up.
of
We go
nowhere,
back.
nightmare.
Oh god.
You know, in GTA where you start going and you're like, wait, where the hell did I end up?
Yeah.
That's where we were stuck.
Oh no. Oh my god. That must have been terrifying
It was
in a way.
terrifying.
Yeah.
But it was really fun. It ended up being super fun when we got there. So it was like, it was worth all of like the commotion and the craziness to get there.
Yeah.
And what's funny is when we did, when I sang that on stage, I was like doing like this chasing dance. So it's funny that you
Oh,
brought up that it's
really?
perfect for a chasing, because anytime that I sing that song live, I have this like energy.
Yeah,
where I
I'm
want to like
saying
run it out while I'm
It also-
singing.
It feels like there's a guy sliding across the roof of a car, dodging
Yeah.
bullets. Well, you know what I mean?
How
It's
many
just
times?
yeah, it just has that like high energy, and that's why it's interesting to hear that at one point it was much lower energy.
Yeah,
it was
you
more
know?
like a chill trap type beat.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because we just vibing. Like as like I said,
Yeah.
I was making something. She started singing on it. But and that's like with music, you like make something, then you go back to it. You know, like some songs just you can craft in like matter of hours, and you're like, this is good
That's it.
because that's just what it is.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But then some songs you're like, let me try this, or like maybe you saw a video of fucking Fred again playing some set, and you're like, oh, that actually would sound good on that. And it's just like it kind of depends on the day too, right? Like
Right,
what you're
right.
inspired by, what you want to make it into.
yeah, like what do you
That
think
song
got you
just
there?
turned out to be drum and bass because, like, yeah, we both fuck with drum and bass, and
I'm definitely a really big drum and bass fan.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
pretty much all I listen to.
Well, it's definitely got that like high energy aspect to it. You know, like drum and bass is probably the
Yeah, listen to the gym sometimes. 'cause I'm
Yeah.
like, fuck yeah.
yeah.
yeah. There's
That's
just something
awesome.
about
Yeah, exactly. You got it. Exactly. It just gets you
Boxer,
going,
right?
and it's like
Simple
it's
that.
good for almost all settings.
Yeah. There's there was this other podcaster from what was it? The Working Class Nerds. Is it Mike? Is that his name? Because there's Nick.
There-
and then there's-
yeah, I
and
think it is
there's
Mike.
Mike, right? He's a huge drum and bass
Drum
fan,
and bass
and
fan.
I sent a bunch of songs that you guys have his way because he
Nice,
was like,
thank
I'm a
you.
super fan of drum and bass. I was like,
There you
Check
go.
it out.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet.
actually though, speaking of mushrooms,
Yeah.
let's
Ooh, what
let's
you got
pass
there?
these around.
Oh.
So these aren't the
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
psychoactive mushroom kind. But so this is Magic
Magic.
Mind.
Magic Mind.
Give it a good shake.
Okay. Yeah.
Pretty much a good like mental boost to your day. It does pair really well with coffee, but also is great on its own. Out of all like these little green juice concoctions, this one's actually got a good taste to it. Almost has like a citrusy flavor. You're looking at
Tea.
things like matcha green tea. It's got
love
L-theanine.
matcha.
Yeah, it's got.
I'm a huge matcha fan.
Oh, I think you'll really like this.
Big
this is
matcha
gonna be
Um,
great.
No, it is actually. This is very tasty.
Yeah,
to be
like
honest.
surprisingly
Awesome.
tasty.
Ginger
Like,
and,
I, you know,
Oh wait, hold on. This says there's yellow 5. No, I'm just fucking.
Oh my god.
imagine.
No, it's good
No,
shit.
this
Yeah,
looks
that's
really good. It looks really healthy.
Yeah,
Yellow
all,
five,
all
dude. Get the fuck
natural.
outta here.
You know,
I love that there's ashwagandha in it.
You know,
Yes.
the aroma's already nice when you open it too.
right?
It is. It smells like one of those like ginger.
Tastes
shots
like a
type
Maui
thing.
Wowie.
Mm.
Yeah. But
I
it's
wish
like
there was more.
right. So
Yeah.
it's like it's but as it is, they put it in a shot form to make it convenient to carry, to travel with, all those kind of things. Because obviously, if it was a giant drink,
Yeah, this is
Um,
good stuff.
you know. But
it's
again, it
perfect.
does. If you're taking it in the morning, it pairs really well with coffee. It has that L-theanine in it, so it kind of like calms down the jitters a
Yeah.
little bit, but gives you the energy still.
Mood stabilizer.
And then so really good stuff. I mean, what did you think when you had the taste?
I
it.
love how it smells. I love how
Yeah.
it tastes. Like, if I had a box in my fridge, I would take it every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so true.
There we go.
Good.
All right.
Anything that tastes
Absolutely.
good and is healthy for me, like,
So good.
like
Yeah.
I'm all for it. You know?
It's nice and refreshing.
Like it's
I don't know,
nice
I
to
like
have
those, like,
these
little ginger
different
shot
healthy
things, too.
alternatives nowadays. You know?
Yeah,
like,
well, and that's the thing is like there's a lot of companies out here like doing stuff to like because there is a market for people that want to have healthy options for things that you know have maybe dietary restrictions. Like if you're vegan, you can still have the shot. You know, and like that's important for a lot of people. So
Oh yeah, don't forget to go to magicmind.com/boneapplet20 and use code boneapplet20 at checkout for up to 20% off your first purchase or up to 48% off your first subscription. That's boneapplet20 at checkout.
It's awesome though. It's really good.
Yeah. But so you guys obviously do a lot of traveling too. Like, so tell me about that a little bit because you guys have been, you know, a lot of places even recently.
We've really actually been a lot from one coast to the other. Quite a bit now. We both have family that lives in Hawaii. Her family lives in Oahu. My family lives in Kauai.
So we've built up a lot of friends there, friends that know people at venues. And so it's been really sweet and awesome to be able to facilitate every time that we go to Hawaii. We're able to have an event happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And then we both have family in Southern California as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is really nice.
Yeah. I mean, anytime you have like a landing pad, like that's huge because a huge part of traveling is just paying for places to stay.
Yes.
You know,
exactly.
and so if you have family and friends, that's like huge.
This all kind of takes, I want to talk about this because how important is that everyone's always watching. We would have never played a show in Hawaii if it wasn't like, it was because of one of my friend Toha. He's an artist. He does bass music, but he reached out to me and sent me like, he's like, hey, these guys doing events in Hawaii. Like, you should check them out. And he sent that right as we were getting ready to go to Hawaii. Like we bought our tickets, we were ready to go. And he sent me this company. I reached out to them and we ended up doing a show that got sold out and did super, really good. This was in Oahu.
Wow.
And like, it was super cool because like, you know, I would have never reached out to anybody out there. Like we were going to visit family, you know, but to like, you know, people, I think they often forget who is looking on the internet and watching you, where you don't know where the next opportunity is going to come from. You don't even have to chase it, you know, per se. But
well, you're still working. That's the thing is like
working.
It's just that
but people see that.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's
and
the
often we
part.
forget because we're like, oh, who can I reach out to? Who should I hit up? Like, oh, should I email that guy, this guy? It's just like, sometimes it's like the opportunity will come when you're ready for that opportunity to come or when it's supposed to come.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really cool. Like, I do remember you guys posting about playing a show in Hawaii and just thinking, like, what the hell?
Like how the
you guys
fuck did they do?
It's like, how? Dude?
Yeah,
Of
like,
course, of course.
yeah, it's like
Every time I
one-
see them, I'm like, of course you're playing a
All
show
it
in
takes
Hawaii.
is one person to start, right? They throw that hand and you're like, okay. And then, you know, you help someone else. And, you know, like he helped me get a show there. I helped him get a show in Denver, Colorado because I knew
that's
people.
awesome.
So it's like, you know, you help people and like, you know, it's just how it is. Like,
I think that's a beautiful thing about the electronic industry too.
Yeah, electronic music is
people are very, very like community oriented and
It's very true.
I feel like in some other industries it's a lot more like competition driven where it's more like, oh, I don't want to give anybody else an opportunity. They might have a leg up over me. It's the opposite of that in the electronic industry where people are very like willing to help each other out and like it's like a family, you know. I remember like feeling even at like the first time I ever went to like an electronic festival and like people are just like so giving. Like all of a sudden they're like giving me their bracelets and like everyone's just like so sweet and loving. Like there's just this like, it's a certain vibration and maybe it's like part of the vibration of the bass. It's a certain vibration that like all these people are just so kind and very sweet. So that's I think ultimately what made us both be so in love with the electronic industry and music and the whole community.
Yeah, like I feel like as a whole, like everybody's pretty chill. Like, you know, like I feel like at least the people who listen to the type of music in general, you know, like you said, like at the shows, it's very much like I've been to like a number of them that are pretty big. Considering the amount of people, I don't think I'm sure it's happened, but I've never seen for sure it's happened, but I've never seen a fight break out, like personally.
Right,
and I'm like, this many people and everybody's fucked up. Like, I'm surprised that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that type of event, like anywhere else, like you would kind of expect something to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody's just like doing like the whole thing, whatever, peace, love, and that, and then
blur, yeah.
exchanging bracelets and like, you know, just kind of hanging out, and everybody's like making friends and stuff. It's a ton of fun.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
you for sure, like you end up like meeting somebody or having some kind of interaction with somebody else, and it's like now you just have some new friends. You know?
Yeah.
Whereas like it's not really the same at, you know, other shows I've been to.
Yeah, I mean, a lot more shows that I've been to is like, you know, it's you're kind of focused on the music, and then like, you know, maybe you'll mosh and like you'll have like a second. This is like metal mainly, but like you'll have a second where it's like, all right, dude, gotcha, and then you like bang into each other again, and then it's just like that's just kind of like it.
Dude, and then even at these shows, like because like you know, some people roll and everything. Like there's literally people that'll like see somebody and they'll be like, hey, like have some water, you know, like
Oh, yeah.
That's
like,
true.
more,
You
like,
need
genuine.
water.
People are so
Yeah.
giving.
Like
yeah.
everybody's like, you know, kind of like looking out for each other in a way too, in that sense. So
Yeah.
it's like it's nice. It's just like a
Yeah,
cool.
everyone's looking. Everyone's family.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's funny. The most looking out that you'll get in a metal show, if they're good, is when you're in a circle pit. If you fall and you're in a good crowd, everyone stops and picks them up.
It picks you. Oh,
Yeah,
That's the
okay,
that's the
nice.
that's a good crowd.
That's-
Yeah.
Alternatively, you get stomped on.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Alternatively, you die.
Oh, God.
It's not that bad.
Or you crowd surf and somebody just spikes you into the ground.
Oh, that did happen to me. I was when I was in the pit for Slayer when I was like 14, and I had been crowd surfing for all the bands prior to. So like Bullet for My Valentine and Killswitch Engage, and then Slayer came on. I was like, all right, time to crowd surf again. That was so fun.
Yeah.
And it was a different crowd, you know.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I started crowd surfing. I definitely landed on some guy's head who definitely got mad and then just threw me into open area. And the first thing I hit was my head.
Oh my
And so I immediately got a concussion. I went to the hospital. It was like a whole thing. I actually tried. I was like, oh, it's like, you know, because when you get a concussion, you're still a little bit like,
yeah. You're like, I'm good.
I'm
I'm
okay. You know, but then like, you know, we're in a concert and Marilyn Manson came on and my head was like pounding.
Oh,
and I was
no.
like, Mom, like, I think I'm,
Mom,
you know, because I'm like 14, I'm like 13 or 14. I'm like,
Mom,
Mom,
help me.
Mom.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's, yeah. But the rest of it was a lot of fun. That memory actually came up and I was like, how many years ago was that?
Yeah, oh my
Makes you
gosh.
feel really
Shows
old
are
all of a sudden.
fun. Shows are fun, man. And it's like, you know, we traveled
Yeah.
quite a bit to Hawaii, and then, you know, we did a show in Vegas.
Yeah.
But like once we started doing the studio, we really just wanted to spread electronic music on the East Coast, you know, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely an on-top market where we are.
Yeah.
yeah, but the thing is, like, there's people that want to dance, but no one's just doing events like that
Yeah.
around here. And there is venues, right?
Mm.
Like, unfortunately, our venue's outgrowing now, but fortunately, we have other venues like the United Theater and
Mhm.
you know, a few other venues around here where
You
we
guys
can
playing
do
there?
stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So we
got
have
you
an
off
event
that.
coming up in October, actually, October 25th.
Oh, wow.
Which is going to be at the United
Oh, cool.
in their cool like black box theater. So
Oh,
it's like it is a perfect venue for what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
It's
amazing.
a
Yes.
600
October.
capacity venue, and we're doing a Halloween event with them. They came to us because they liked what we were doing, and they're like, "We never done an electronic event here, but we would love to try
Oh my
something
God,
if you're
I
up
feel
for
like
it."
that pairs
And,
so well.
and we wanted to
Yeah.
do an event at our space.
For Halloween, yeah.
Yeah, and we were gonna do something, but literally
But when they reached out,
they came to our studio and they were like, and they were on the same time, and we're like, well,
this is perfect.
we need more space, so this is great.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
do it.
Exactly.
That's so fun. That's
Yeah,
like
that's
a, is
great.
that going to be like a costumes encouraged
Yes.
event kind
Yeah.
of thing?
Absolutely.
It's called the Monstrous Masquerade.
yeah.
Oh,
A
masquerade.
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 Yeah, wordplay, you know.
So,
It's
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, no, that's great. That's
bring
awesome.
out your best costumes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
No, it's
that's
going to be a lot of
amazing.
fun. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's October 25th.
October 25th.
25th.
Yes.
Yeah, and
You guys
better be there.
we booked my my good friend Dean. He goes by the artist name Everlove.
Oh
And
yeah,
you
We
guys
interviewed
actually
him.
did a podcast
Yeah, we
with
did.
him.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Everlove's,
Great.
he's going to be there.
So,
Yes.
Yeah.
We're flying
I
him
gotta
in
write
from
this down.
Vegas.
Oh,
He-
what?
he
I'm literally
actually-
writing this down right now.
Dean came here right when we started building our recording studio.
Yeah.
And like, you know, we were building studio and like we were sitting at a restaurant and he's just like, you know, this is this is a town where I'd love to raise my kids one day. You know?
Oh yeah, it does have
And
that
this man,
vibe to it.
He
man.
grew up in Vegas. Can you
yeah.
imagine what
I
it's like to
cannot.
grow up in
Right, I
Vegas?
can't.
No.
And
just
then
can't.
comes to a town like this and is like, I want to raise my kids here.
Yeah, it's
Like
because
honestly,
it's
like
it
any
probably-
town outside of Vegas, he probably would have been
But
like,
he
I
was
need to raise
also
my
like,
kids
he was
here.
like, bro, like
Not
people are
Vegas.
so nice here. Like,
Yeah.
there's a
anyone
lot
he
of that.
talked to, like anyone he met, he's like, dude, like you would not get this in Vegas. You know,
Yeah.
and people would be like, fuck off. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
well, like the thing is too is that like this town sometimes the niceness is like I'll be driving and I'm like someone's like telling me to go, but they have the right of
Yeah,
way.
yeah, that's
and I'm
true.
like, hey, you go. And then they're like, and I'm like, oh my God, this town's so freaking nice. And, you know,
Annoyingly nice.
Yeah, it's just like, it's so
So
funny.
cute, but so annoying.
Yeah, but that like, I mean, we were, China was doing some dog sitting and she was walking her dog in Wilcox Park.
Yeah.
And that's just gorgeous at
Oh,
night.
it's
yeah.
so
It's
beautiful.
so
It's like,
beautiful.
I was like, we
Yeah.
got to start just
Yeah.
walking
Oh, yeah.
here just
I walk
regularly.
there every day.
Yeah.
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 It's like
It's
one of the
beautiful.
reasons I live here, I say, is
We
that
did an
It is
beautiful
super
park.
we
nice.
did an
Yeah.
event there
Likewise.
actually, like a pop-up event at the
Yeah,
park, and
we
it was
did.
super nice.
Oh,
We had a bunch
really?
of friends come, a bunch of people,
Yeah,
a bunch
And
of
then we
random
had
people
so
came
many
up
people
too.
ask us afterwards, like, when are you doing that park thing again? And we're like,
We're like, we didn't know
"Whoa."
you were gonna fuck with that, you know? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you know, people liked it.
That's
but
the thing is we want to keep it exclusive, you know?
Yeah.
If
yeah.
you didn't go to it that one time,
Then you missed out.
Tough.
Better
You
come to
missed
the next
out.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's a smart way to do it, guys. I
Yeah.
really like that because it's a good point. It's like if you do it all the time, then there's like, I can
It's
miss
like, oh,
it.
I can miss to go anytime.
Yeah, but it's like
Yeah.
if you miss it, then it's like, the
Yeah.
FOMO
Because
is real.
like we put so much
Exactly.
time and energy and effort into making it, what it is. Like something unique and special and different that you won't go if you go to a random bar around here.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. I mean, just the
Like-
setting alone, I think,
Yeah.
is like incredibly
Yeah.
unique.
Especially for the like younger ass crowd, they're
Yeah,
looking
right.
for something hip, something different,
Yeah,
something stimulating, right?
right.
Like,
With the art that's up, is that
Oh.
like, do you kind of like have artists around to like hang their stuff? Is
Yeah.
that how that works? So
yeah. I mean, like, really the way I label it is kind of like misfit art because around
Okay.
here it's like so, at least in Westerly area, it's very geared. There's so many artsy people, but it's very geared towards like nautical art, which is
Okay.
like
Yeah, that's-
lighthouses and that kind of thing.
that makes
Waves.
sense.
And I would
whales,
say what
yeah.
we're doing is a little bit more misfit in terms of like we can leave the nautical stuff out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that makes sense.
I want like abstract. I want like weird. I want
Colors.
colorful. You know?
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
actually,
So that's basically how I curate the gallery, and I want local. You know, so
Mhm.
like local misfits is like kind of the general theme that
Okay.
goes into every show. Is that like it's just got to be different. You know.
Very cool.
So yeah, we've got some really awesome local artists that come in and bring like a rotating supply, and we get them as far as like from Providence. There's some people that come from New London to bring
Oh,
stuff. So
amazing.
it's just like,
Massachusetts,
and a lot of
yeah,
it's just
all
like
over
my
the
art
place.
friends,
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That's very
because
cool.
I went to art school over in Lime Academy in Old Lyme, so there's a lot of local artists that I know too that
right.
I can just have them bring their weird stuff in and
That's so
have a place to
cool.
show it off.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Guys.
And I feel like it also like helps to inspire people to keep creating.
yes.
You know, so
'Cause
like
there's a place where it could be hung up.
exactly.
seen.
Yeah. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
even have friends who have told me like, oh, now I have like a reason to make something. I can actually put it on a wall somewhere.
Yeah, right.
Yes, yeah. And we also offer like, we'll sell it, for them and that kind of thing. So if it's
Yeah.
up there and it sells, like our first show, we actually sold a very decent amount of art.
Really?
Yeah.
More
So-
than we thought we would
More
sell.
than we thought we would sell. Yeah. So it was really beautiful to see that like these, like specifically like one of my friends, Amber, who had a bunch of her art just like literally in her closet,
Mm.
put it out on our walls, and now it's in people's homes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kinda
Yeah.
crazy to
That's
think.
so cool.
Yeah. So that was like a really big driving factor.
Yeah.
I love that too when places like do that type of thing. Like even like Nana's like sells ceramics.
Yeah.
You know, like, they
Yes.
have
I will end
ceramics
up
they use
too,
at the
you know?
store.
They-
Yeah,
they have
exactly.
art
Yeah,
too.
Yeah.
exactly. Like
yeah.
yeah, and like I walked in, I was like, I love that, because then it's like it's like you get local artists to put stuff up, and like
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm always like if you like something on the wall, it's cool to just be like, you know what, I'm just gonna buy that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And walk out with it.
Yeah, because
Exactly.
I mean that's the thing too is when you see it up, it's almost like an example of like how does it actually look when it's on the wall, size wise, everything, as opposed to like
Exactly.
looking at it online.
Well, people rarely buy art online.
Yeah, I guess that's a
I
good-
remember reading some statistic, like art is like one of the lowest things ever bought online. Unless it's on something wearable or something like that. But like
Right,
just
right.
prints and
sense
stuff.
because like because it just kind of like feels unoriginal if you buy it online. You're like,
Yep.
there's like 20,
Yeah.
like a million of
Yeah.
these things, and everybody and their mom's got it. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
there's got to be some kind of like, at least me personally, there's got to be like some kind of like exclusivity or like originality.
Exactly.
And if it's like, yeah, like if it's like, oh well, this is gonna get printed out on my computer like printer. It's
Then
It's
not
the
special.
home goods
it's not
effect
special.
of
You
like
need-
when you walk into a home
Yeah.
goods and they have all
Yeah.
like the just standard paintings and
Yeah.
stuff.
Exactly. You
That's
need
true.
that exclusivity, that feeling of like, wow, there's only one on the wall here. And like, it's got that like brush stroke to it that lets me know like, wow, this is unique. This is original. No one else is going to have this in their home. And
Yeah.
it's a really similar thing with what we do with our merch too. So we
Yeah.
make like very exclusive 2Primo merch for every single show that we do. So
Mm.
anytime that we have an event in our space, we have like a selection on our clothing rack that will only be there for that show.
Whoa. Holy
Yeah.
shit. You
As
guys
well
are
as
like
the
really
art.
smart about all this.
As well as
This is
the
like
art.
very well thought
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, well, like I'm all about like one of a kind and unique. Like that is
Yeah.
like one of my biggest
Love it.
things.
You
when
want to
I
experience
create.
something different and get something one of a kind. Like you have to come for the event. You know,
Ah,
you have to
yeah.
come there and see it, and if you want it, you get it. You know, if you don't want it, you could at least see it, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
you're never gonna come to an event of ours at 2Primo Studios and see the same art.
Yeah.
It's always
Mm.
gonna be curated to something different. You're
Yeah.
always gonna see something different.
Yeah. And it's
You
pretty
know?
sweet that you guys have like exclusive merch per
per show.
for
Yeah.
the show. I feel
Yeah.
like that's so
and
cool.
and that's
Yeah.
only at our studio. That's only ever gonna be at our studio. Like at the United, that's a concert, right?
Right.
We're partnering up with them. We're doing a concert event.
Yeah.
While it would be great to showcase art there, it doesn't really make
That's not
sense.
what the venue's
Yeah.
for.
You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's gonna be more about the music, the at least for
dancing,
this
the
show, the
costumes.
costumes, right?
Yeah, yeah, the
You guys
Halloween
do, like,
fun.
like an
Yeah.
after at your studio. Is
We
that,
were
like,
Yes.
talking
I don't know
about
if,
that.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
You
you're
know,
like talking about not
it's-
getting certain people.
No,
in.
I will say this. We are planning for something afters, but it's gonna be again a very like exclusive thing where
Yeah.
you're gonna have to get invite to come.
Nice
Yeah.
Snapchat group or
You know,
Snapchat
yeah.
group with some
And-
some bar.
If you
thing.
get an invite, you get an invite.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
don't, you gotta
Yeah.
come to the next event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah, if
that's-
you don't, just
Right.
like take it easy next time.
Yeah,
and we don't want it to feel like it's like we're trying to exclude people. That's not
Right, right,
really
right.
the mentality.
Yeah.
It's more about just curating the vibe that's there.
Yeah.
So I hate to like say that we're like exclusive in that way because I feel like that comes off as us like trying to shut people out, and that's not what we're trying to do. It's more about just curating the right crowd
The
for
right
it.
vibe,
And
yeah.
I mean, it's not like you're kicking people out for wearing sneakers.
No,
You're
no,
trying,
no.
like
No,
if
no.
somebody's like, if somebody's like actively like physically violently
Yeah.
ruining the
like
time for somebody
clearly
else,
not
it's like, all
handling
right,
their
well,
liquor.
like,
Hey, look, I
I
don't
get
give a
it,
shit.
dude.
Like,
Everybody, yeah,
yeah,
but there's a time and a place.
Yeah.
There, you know?
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Like I don't
Exactly.
care if you take some mushrooms or drink whatever. Do your thing when you come there, but like suss out the vibe.
Yeah, yeah.
like
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
don't be like half tequila bottle in and pull up.
Yeah, yeah.
That's not gonna end well.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that'll kill the vibe for everybody
Oh my
else there. They'll be like,
gosh.
oh, God, look at that guy.
Yeah, like, what is he
Exactly.
doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. But what we do offer to anyone who doesn't get the invite is that we do offer a we video record everything that we do at our studio.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So anytime that we do a set, it's going to be up on our YouTube, so people can get an
Yep.
idea of what they missed. So
Okay.
even if someone was invited, they couldn't make it, then they get an idea of like, oh, that's what it was like.
Yeah.
Mm.
So we do try to keep it accessible to everyone, at least in that respect, in that regard.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
not like totally like shh. It's just,
Right, right.
it's just sort of like we're just curating the vibe for that. For that reason.
I think
for
there's
us-
also like a capacity thing too, where it's like,
well,
you know,
completely.
you
in
know,
our
it's like
space,
there
yeah.
really is like only so many people that you
Right,
can fit
right.
in
Have
the
they
space.
spoken
and
to you?
stuff.
Like, have they said anything? Like the building owners are like, hey, there's like a lot of people.
No, we never had any
Fire.
problems. Yeah, we never had any problems with
Nice.
the
Good.
owners. They
That's
trust us and like they're
I feel like-
excited about what we're doing for the community in our town. our landlord's actually is an artist himself.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
he
no
does
way.
a
We
lot
have
of
some of his art in our
Oh, that's
gallery.
awesome.
Oh, there you
Just
go.
art in the
Yeah.
That's how you
gallery.
reel them in a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Hey,
That's
I mean,
really
you want your
cool.
art up in here, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah.
It's a good, give and take. Yeah.
No, I like it. It's good. I mean, like, I think that's obviously like keys, like, you know, like showing that you're good people. And then it's like, I think even like doing the sort of curating of, you know, the events that you hold there is important for like maintaining just business there.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
one really bad night can
For sure.
end it.
Yeah,
You know,
for
so
sure.
it's like I completely
Yeah.
there's an understanding as to why that's happening.
Yeah.
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 Um,
It's definitely yeah.
yeah.
it's a little gray area if you're not careful, but you
Yeah.
know,
Especially when the business is new too. You want to make sure that it's
Exactly.
like it's going the way you
Correct.
want it to.
Exactly. We don't want to give anyone a reason to complain. So
Yeah.
that's a big reason why we are doing now the invite only is because we want to
Yeah.
make sure that because we're not the only people in that building. You know,
Right.
there's Perks and Corks right above us. So like we want to make
Yeah.
sure that no one has a reason to complain because that's
Another
ultimately
good spot.
we're
by
just
the way.
trying to do a good thing for the community, not make
Yeah.
anyone
Yeah.
too angry at us. So.
Yeah, yeah. So that's where it is. It's below Perks and Corks?
yeah.
Yeah, right below.
It's like the
Mhm.
driveway
So-
to go.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
if
guys,
you
I'm
go-
so sorry. I
Or
need to come
something.
at some point.
Yes,
I will
you
show
do.
up. I will show up. I promise.
Yes.
I will come.
There's
But
gonna be many more nights. You better
Absolutely.
pull out your costume for the Halloween party.
oh,
Oh,
no,
yes.
100%. Me and China have been like, we need to figure out our costumes because last year we
Yes.
were Barbie and Ken and we had such a great time.
Oh,
But it's
so
like-
that was
fun.
a good one. We were there for
That was
that.
really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
You guys
So-
had an epic thing going on.
Yeah, so I was
Well,
like,
tough
crap,
was
like,
like-
what do we do this year? You know?
This-
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how. I mean, I can't imagine this neighborhood's like crazy for.
Yeah,
trick-or-treaters,
no,
but-
we're probably not for trick or treating night. I think we're going to her parents' place.
Okay.
Oh, fun.
And we're going to do that because the trick or treating in this neighborhood that worked very specifically
Where
for
we all
that.
lived.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
area,
Yeah.
That was
Pawcatuck.
so
Yeah.
much
Super
fun.
nice.
That was very
that's
unique.
The spot. you
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
it's
that's-
funny. It was one of the reasons why it was so hard for me to move out of the area we lived in. I was like, we're not going to have trick or treaters at our next
Yeah.
place.
I
Like,
know.
it's so much
I know.
fun. That whole Halloween vibe on
It
that
was
strip.
absolutely insane. Like the line of kids
yeah.
walking up to the
You
house.
run
You're
out
like,
of candy
Hundreds.
every Halloween.
Hundreds
And like,
upon
I don't know,
we
hundreds.
it's
spent
the best
probably
part-
$500
Yeah,
on candy.
easily.
Like thousands of pieces just like
Yep.
It's like the best
Yep.
place to trick or treat too. Like if I was a kid, like I'm sure.
just
I mean,
go
all,
there.
like half these
Yeah.
families must like drive from other neighborhoods to like come
Oh,
here because
definitely.
there's like
Oh, yeah,
all these
for
parallel
sure.
streets, super easy to walk. There's
Yeah.
tons of houses. Like I mean, I used to when I was a kid too. We would go to a different neighborhood just because it was
Yeah.
a better layout.
That, like, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You know?
Like, that's the spot.
It's
That
like
neighborhood
flat.
was the
you
spot.
know,
It's
flat
literally-
house,
It's perfect.
next street, house,
Yeah.
you know? So it's like, as a kid, it's just like a wonderland of Halloween stuff. And then there's
Yeah.
randomly like, there's like that guy in the like old timey car with the lanterns on the front
Oh,
and
yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
just
yeah.
driving around town. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
Our
insane.
neighborhood got into it. Like
yeah.
all the houses participated, which was really beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a good Halloween culture here.
Yes.
Which I love.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love it too. Halloween's so much fun. You know, it's like that kid in you gets a chance to shine.
Exactly. That's why I'm so excited to do a party for Halloween.
Yes.
That's like
Yeah, it's gonna
always
be a
my
ton of
thing. I'm
fun.
like, what are we
Gonna
doing
be
for
something.
Halloween?
Yeah. There's going to be some Halloween remixes in there.
Oh,
For sure, gonna have a little
to.
bit of something. Yeah,
Yeah.
You gotta have
Monster
something.
Mash.
Yeah. Monster Mash for D&D.
You know?
Yeah.
We're gonna have to make that a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's not already a thing, we're gonna make it a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun show because to kind of paint the picture for you at the United, we've been there to kind of plan things out, but it's a big venue and we're gonna have a big wall, like visual wall of visuals going on. This is gonna be a boiler room style of set. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with boiler room set.
Mm-mm.
So usually you have an artist on the stage, right? The main stage.
Mm.
With a boiler room set, the DJ is on the dance floor with the crowd,
Oh, no
and the
way.
crowd is all around in a circle
That's
around the
sick.
DJ.
Oh,
Mhm.
wow.
So it's
Yeah.
more inclusive that way, right? So you don't
Gets
feel like
people
you're like,
going.
oh, the artist is all the way up there. You're like fucking right here with them.
Yeah.
You're like, damn, I could see them press buttons, which I don't know what they do, but this is cool.
Yeah,
You
like
know?
I know they're not
Like,
just pressing
Yes.
play on a playlist. You know, like
And
they're
it's-
actually
it's
live
more-
mixing.
you
yeah.
can
And
connect,
it's more inviting.
you know?
You
Yeah.
like have people come
Yeah.
right up and dance right with you, and
Yeah.
yeah. So that's
We're gonna have
that's the
a bunch of lighting. We have
And
a
the
big
stage will just be
yeah.
like the big screen with the visuals.
Ah.
Yeah, so we'll have like a big visual screen right behind us. I'm thinking about making some monster sculptures,
Ooh.
like to just hang out on the
that's gonna be
stage,
so cool.
and then we're gonna be like basically on the ground with everybody
Yep.
all around
Wow.
us.
Gonna have some gonna have a laser show, lighting show. It's gonna be a proper dance event.
It will be a
Holy
proper
crap.
dance event.
Dude.
Which
It's
around
something
here
this town probably has not
hasn't-
had.
Yeah.
no way, that's
no,
gonna be so
definitely.
dope. I feel like
Yes.
that's, and I feel like you guys are gonna get a good crowd too. I mean,
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of
yeah.
fun. We had a lot of friends tell us they're excited that they're coming, you know. Like I mean, it's no one else, you know, you're either gonna go to Boston or gonna go to New York.
Yeah, I'd much rather
for
be able
some
to-
big event, right? Like,
Right.
you know.
But this is going to be a big event right in our own town. So
Yeah.
it'll be like, we're hoping it's going to be the thing to head to for Halloween.
Well, it already sounds like the thing to head to for Halloween.
It already is the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
the thing.
Yeah, I think this is fantastic. No, I'm
Yeah.
definitely. I already wrote it in my calendar. Like I want to go.
Yay!
Yeah.
So, I think that'll be a great time.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. We're excited for it. You know, we have a big team of people that are helping us make this happen. So it'll be fun. You know,
Sweet.
we have lighting guys, we have visual guys. We're gonna this whole event's gonna be recorded with different angles. You know, afterwards we're gonna get it up on YouTube. So
Oh,
if you weren't
nice.
there,
You can still get a little
You can
peek into
still
what it was
get a little
like.
peek.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
so
our
that
thought
you're like,
process.
oh, that's what I missed on. I better go next time.
Yeah.
You know.
I like that
Exactly.
that's your kind of
Yeah.
theme where it's like you do the thing. It's kind of like a thing.
Yeah.
It's not like, you know, like you're saying, it's kind of like a boom, a big pop-up event. And then you also video it because then it's like, hey guys, like
This is
come
what
on
we're
in.
doing.
Like
Come
next
on
time,
in.
this is what it is.
Yeah.
This is the vibes.
A lot
Like
of
so-
people are kind of hesitant to go to a new thing like this because
Yeah.
they're like, I
At
don't
least
know,
in this
like,
town,
what
people
you-
aren't used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to kind of paint the picture for them. It's like this is what it's gonna be,
Yeah.
you know. And of course, that's hard to do for a first event that you haven't done.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Right.
you know, we're doing best that we can in order to show you, like, yeah, this is what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah,
how
this
do you
is
get
what to
tickets?
expect.
Is there tickets? I'm
Oh, yeah,
assuming
that's a good
ticket
question.
sales,
How do we get
stuff like
tickets
that.
to this
Like, how do we-
thing?
Yeah, there are tickets
Yeah.
on the United's website.
Okay.
Oh, is it already like,
Yeah,
is it already
well, it's
live?
already
Like you
live.
can already
It's
buy
already
tickets?
It's already live. Yeah,
Live.
this is already live. So if
Absolutely.
you want to go get tickets for this United show that we're doing, you can go either to our Instagram or you could go to United's Instagram or to the United's website or our website. You know,
Yes.
you can't really miss it.
All right.
Yes.
Well, heck yeah, that's freaking great. So we're coming up on about an hour
Yeah.
here. Is there anything you guys wanted to
Perfect.
touch on before we kind of like tie things up?
Mm.
Trying to
what
think
do you
like
think?
any sort of
Trying to
like
think,
either maybe
like-
you have projects coming up or things
Mhm.
that you did in the past that you want to shout out
Mm.
or any
Well-
collabs you're going to be doing.
Daisy recently released an album. Maybe she can talk about that.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true. I haven't.
Since
well,
she'll be playing a set at this United Theater show.
Thank you.
That's
Okay.
exciting.
he brought it up, and I'm like, oh, there's nothing, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
No, but it's true. It's true. So I have an album that I put together actually on August 8th. So it was 8/8. So the album's called 888 because
Nice.
it's 8 tracks that I finished up on the 8th.
Oh wow.
I just had this like crazy energy, you know. I like drank a dirty chai, and I was just like, "Let's go, let's just finish some stuff up." So, it's actually like it's really kind of a catalog of old music. It's just
Oh,
like
cool.
8 songs that I always really loved, that I like revamped, you know, like
Cool.
gave it new life. Things
Yeah.
that had just kind of been sitting in my archives for a while, and I'm like, why not let the world hear it, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that's actually coming out on October 10th.
Okay.
Right now, it's just on SoundCloud and Audio Mac for
Okay.
like exclusive streaming, but otherwise, it will be on all platforms on October 10th.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm glad I'm glad I asked.
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
thank you,
You know what I
thank
mean?
you.
It's definitely,
Yeah.
definitely not. Oh, nothing. You know. Nothing.
Yeah. Just releasing an album that
Just
I
like
put all my
really-
time and effort and energy
Just
into.
put like a lot of hours into this thing. It's no big deal. I'm just dropping it.
Yeah.
My aunt was saying how funny it is now that we use this term, like just dropped an album, like just dropped a song, like because we're like just dropping it. Like just
Yeah,
drop the
right.
mic. Like it's not like oh, I put all this time into releasing this thing. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna drop it.
Yeah.
It's just it's funny, even our terminology for it. We're just like, whatever.
Well, you're like, you drop it and then you're like, on to the next thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drop an EP next.
Basically, like
Yeah, as
the
if it's, like,
verbiage.
whatever.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
verbiage is like, oh, I'm just gonna drop it, so I don't care about it anymore.
Yeah. Well, I feel like for a lot of people too, is like by the time they do drop it, they've been
Yeah.
listening to it for months, and
So
it's like
much.
so old news
Yeah.
to them.
I'm
you
over
know?
it. Yeah.
It happens. It
Yeah.
happens.
A bit,
It's
yeah.
true.
It's
Yeah.
funny. A
Yeah.
bit dismissive. It's like, oh, well, it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah. It's kind of a big deal, you know.
And I mean, obviously, like the show. So
Yes.
that's coming up. I mean, that's October is like
Exactly.
right around the
It's-
corner.
Yeah.
Believe me, I'm feeling that too because we have a movie to shoot in like literally 2 months, and I'm
Oh my
like,
God, how exciting.
yeah, I'm just like, like I just got everyone hired, like so all crew and everything, but it's just like there's still a few meetings to happen, and it's just there's a lot that has to happen between now and then, and I'm
Yep.
like, you know, it's just a lot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's one
Yeah.
thing at a time.
yeah,
That's
it
all.
really is.
30
That's
days.
that's how you have
just
to.
gotta check everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
She's messed up.
I know it's crazy, but
Yeah.
okay. So besides that,
Besides that, I'm
September,
personally
huh?
finishing an album myself, but it's still,
Amazing.
you know, it's gonna be Plumpy and Friends album.
Oh,
So
nice,
it's just gonna
nice.
be. I haven't released anything in over a year now, which is kind of weird for me because I've always released music pretty consistently.
Yeah.
But having to build a studio on my own,
it's a huge-
I just
Yeah.
I couldn't even.
yeah,
I couldn't even.
you were working your second
Yeah.
job building the place. You know,
Yeah.
it's,
Like, you know, and then I have 2 other jobs on top of that, so I'm just like,
Yeah,
I don't
jeez.
even have fucking time
it's
to.
a third job rather.
So it's just like, yeah, I'm working on that, but I'm like halfway finished with it, and the other half we'll see what happens. Kind of just waiting on people to send me stems.
So you can start
You
the.
know.
It's a fun waiting game.
You're
yes.
kind of waiting on people, yeah. But you know,
Yeah.
besides that, we're just we're gonna try to do more events at the United after
Yeah.
this Halloween show.
More events at
where-
our studio.
Where we'll
Mhm.
try to do more events at the studio. The hope is to bring bigger electronic music artists into this town,
Yeah.
and kind of route them into Westerly when they're within the vicinity of this town, right? And hopefully, we can make that happen. But again, like this is an untapped market for electronic music, so we're gonna do best that we can to, bring people the best that we can bring them.
Yeah.
Right? Like-
Yeah. Our
But-
idea is like, if you build it, people will come.
Yeah.
And that's our
true.
hope. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great
Yeah.
spot too. Like this area is super
Yeah.
nice. So I feel like it's really
Yeah.
like
It's a beautiful place to
conducive
be.
having like shit going on around here. You know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So-
And I feel like there's enough people that have left the city now to come here, basically,
it's
because
true.
they're like, wow, it's so beautiful. There's fresh air here.
Yeah.
So
Fresh
it'd be
air
good
and
if there was like
oceans and-
actually
Yeah.
something to do at night, a little bit of
Yeah.
nightlife. So that's kind of our hope is that we can keep it cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think you
keep it
will. I
rolling.
think the more events that you do, the more traction it gets. So
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Awesome.
thank you so much for coming
Yeah.
on. It
Yeah,
was great
thank
chatting
you.
and
Thank you
catching
for
up.
having
Yes.
us. As always.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
And I guess we're going to see you at the United October 24th.
Yeah,
no,
right?
sure.
100%.
Let's
I'll
dance.
now that I know that
Yeah.
that's a thing and we're wearing costumes and it's going to be all this cool shit, like I would definitely want to be there.
So down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll probably see you at a random coffee shop because I feel like I see you guys around town all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, if you guys want to follow us and follow our journey, you could follow us at 2Primo.studio. That's 2, like the number 2, not TWO.
Yeah,
yeah.
But, or you go to 2Primo.com and everything's up on there. So follow us if you want to be part of the journey. And anything else? Did I miss anything else out?
No, well, you could also follow Daisy and
Daisy and
Yarrow.
Yarrow.
You could
So
also
Daisy
follow,
and
follow
Yarrow
Daisy and Yarrow,
is
yeah,
our
for
new
the
our new project that we're cooking up with our
Sweet.
duo
Yeah.
releases.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's amazing.
I
Yeah.
gotta buy a ticket for this. Like,
Yeah, I know. I'm literally
Yeah.
I'm gonna go downstairs and talk to China. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
we gotta buy some tickets.
Oh my
Get your
goodness.
tickets now because they're only $15 right now.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
They're gonna be much more
Yeah.
at the door.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
So they are doing like advanced ticket sales. It's a good deal.
So I'd recommend getting them now while you can.
Well,
Yeah.
perfect, guys. All right.
Awesome.
Well, I guess
Yay.
that's it.
Well, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you guys.
See ya. Thanks so much for listening to Bone Apple Tea. If you like the show, please give us a follow, a like, comment, subscribe, whatever it is. Tell your friends about it. And make sure to follow us on Instagram. That's Bone Apple TV.
BoneappleTeav on Instagram. Thanks so much.